Annie Crombie hopes for an encore performance tonight as the 1989 Breeders' Crown commences at Northfield Park in Ohio. In August of 1988, the 6-year-old by Abercrombie captured the mare Pace in dramatic fashion. She held off her rival, Armbro Feather, to win by a head. Armbro Feather is back this year seeking revenge, and right now the 5-year-old speedster has the look of a champion. She's won 13 races this season and recorded victories on ovals of every size. Annie Crombie and Armbro Feather, two of the top mares in tonight's Breeders' Crown. It's the 1989 Certified Vacations Breeders' Crown. We're 20 miles south of Lake Erie at Northfield Park in Northfield, Ohio. Tonight, 9 mares will battle for a purse in excess of $287,000 in a race which will help determine divisional honors. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bruce Beck. Glad you could be with us tonight for the best of standardbred racing. The Breeders' Crown begins its 6th season tonight. It's a competition which brings together the finest pacers and trotters in North America. This year, we're pleased to announce that Certified Vacations will be the title sponsor for the Breeders' Crown. Let me tell you a little bit about the broadcast schedule. We'll be with you the next 3 Friday nights in September, and then we'll be back on Friday, October 27th, with a 3-hour extravaganza from Pompano Park featuring 8 divisional championships in the Breeders' Crown. Tonight, we open up with 9 pacing mares, and leading the field is Armbro Feather, who's been in the money 19 of 20 times this year. Working with me is Hall of Famer Stan Bergstein. And Stan, Armbro Feather has done everything that's been asked of her over the past 2 years, that is, except win the Breeders' Crown.
And ironically, Bruce, the race that she did not win, the Breeders' Crown, was probably the greatest race of her career. Last year, she was 9th at the half, 11 lengths back, and made up all of those 11 lengths except a head, which Annie Crombie beat her by at the wire. Great race, great mare. She's done everything else, too. She was undefeated as a 2-year-old. She set world records on a mile, 5/8 mile track, and of course, she's won $1 million.
Stan, how deep is this field tonight?
Extremely deep, quality all the way. The mares cumulatively have won $5.5 million, and 3 of them, of course, are millionaires. That's Annie Crombie, Armbro Feather, and Leah Almahurst. They have 2 world record holders, 2 Breeders' Crown winners in Leah Almahurst and Annie Crombie. The drivers have won over 27,000 races, and their mounts have won over $210 million.
We began this morning with a field of 10. We are now down to a field of 9. A major development today at Northfield Park. And for that story and more, let's go to Gary Seibel.
Thanks, Bruce. I'm standing in front of the stall of one of the top contenders in the aged mare pace, or at least she was until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. World champion Crystal Tree, whose Cinderella story began in May of this year, has been scratched from tonight's race due to an injured suspensory in her right front leg. Now, this world champion will not see the last slipper tonight, as it will elude the 4-year-old daughter of Trim the Tree. Unraced at 2 and 3, and not making her first start until May 20th of this year, Crystal Tree has set 2 world standards, has 10 wins, a second, and 2/3 in her 14 starts in 1989. Now, owner Carl McGrid of Ontario decided that she deserved a shot in tonight's Breeders' Crown, so he supplemented her into the race for nearly $33,000. She's scratched, the money will stay part of the purse, and Crystal Tree will have to wait for another day. Let's go back to Bruce Beck.
Thank you, Gary. The track labeled sloppy early in the day is now fast. Temperature 68 degrees, and there's only 30% chance of rain. Let's take a look at the morning line odds for tonight's Breeders' Crown. Annie Crombie gets the rail 6-1. Crystal Tree has been scratched. Leah Almahurst 4-1. Armbro Feather, the public's choice, 2-1 morning line odds. Singing Strings 12-1. Armbro Glow a long shot at 25. Lauren B at 12. Storm Toss is 8-1. Doodlin 30-1, and Kitawake 25-1. Tonight's Breeders' Crown event is brought to you by Certified Vacations, when you want it to be right. And by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. We'll be back to Northfield Park, the home of the flying turns, for tonight's Breeders' Crown in just a moment. Welcome back to Northfield Park. Remember the rain we talked about, 30%? Well, it's really coming down right now. Time for the post parade. Number 1 is Annie Crombie.
Oldest of the field at 6 and richest with $1,175,000. Defending Breeders' Crown champion. She set world records in half mile, 5/8 mile, and mile tracks.
And the driver is Mike LaChance, who's won 2 Breeders' Crown championships, including the same mare pace in '86 with Sam Shoe Bluegrass. Number 2, Crystal Tree has been scratched. Number 3, Leah Almerhurst.
Also a millionaire. This ultra-consistent mare won the Breeders' Crown 2 years ago as a 2-year-old, was second last year, and enters tonight's race having been first, second, or third 42 times in 47 lifetime starts.
And the driver is Bill Fay, who drove Leah Almerhurst to her 1987 Breeder Crown victory. Number 4, Armbro Feather.
The third $1 million winner in the race and the reigning queen of the division. She has won 12 races and has been first or second 18 times in 20 starts this year. A brilliant mare.
And the driver is John Kopas, who drove the great race mare Roses Are Red. Number 5 is Singing Strings.
Last year, when she won $280,000, Singing Strings won 13 races against the best in the sport. She's not as formidable this year, but has finished in the money 16 times in 22 starts.
And the driver is Jimmy Doherty, a veteran of over 30 years in the racing business. Number 6 is Armbro Glow.
Racing at her home track at the Meadows near Pittsburgh, she's won 2 of her last 4 starts, but not against this caliber of competition. This is a very big order for her.
The driver is Dick Stillings, who won the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old colt pace last year with Kentucky Spur. Number 7 is Lauren B.
Big and lightly raced. She's made fewer starts than any other mare in the Crown, only 22, but's won half of those races and has been in the money 17 times. She's trained by the Swedish horsewoman Annalena Lundgren.
And the driver is Jerry Bookmeyer, 21-time Northfield driving champion. Number 8 is Storm Tossed.
This mare never goes a bad race. She's been first, second, or third 16 times in 18 starts this year, won more money, $440,000, than any mare except Leah Almerhurst last year, and has the services of the master.
That's John Campbell. He's driven in 48 of the 54 Breeders' Crown events to date. He has 11 Crown championships. Number 9 is Doodlin.
California bred, she campaigned on the West Coast with distinction, but this is a different scene and some very inhospitable company. She likes to race in front, but she may have trouble getting there.
Rick Keebler's in the bike, a leading driver on the California circuit. And number 10 is Kittywake.
Another front racing mare like Doodlin, but like Doodlin, she starts from the second tier and has a very tough assignment ahead of her tonight. She has won almost $400,000, however, in her career.
And the driver will be Chuck Chrisman Jr. As you take a good look at Kittywake, Chuck Chrisman Jr. will be in the bike. His truck license plate is 3 wide and winging. He and his brother known as the Foot Doctors because of specialization in corrective shoeing. It is really coming down at Northfield Park. A couple of moments ago, a tremendous downpour, and the 30% chance of rain has indeed come true. Right now, we'd like to meet some of the top contenders, some of the mares to watch for tonight in the Breeders' Crown Championships. Here's Gary Seibel.
Thanks, Bruce. Although on the surface it may appear that there are now only 3 instead of 4 top contenders in the aged mare pace due to the scratch of Crystal Tree with an injured suspensory, this Breeders' Crown field is very, very deep in talent. And the last time our top contenders met was in July at Greenwood Raceway for the Roses Are Red Stakes, and we had quite a battle. 2 elimination heats and a final, and a bit of a surprise in the first elimination as Lauren B. took on Armbro Feather. Let's take a look.
On the outside, and Lauren B. takes over the lead. Armbro Feather up the rail. Here comes Town Skip, now third. Annie Crombie is fourth, and he turned for home. Armbro Feather's coming back on. Lauren B. Town Skip switches to the outside, and here she comes. Armbro Feather staying game. Lauren B. inching up. Town Skip, Annie Crombie towards the rail. Armbro Feather, Lauren B. reaching up.
And certainly a very impressive performance by Lauren B. The best effort of her career, 1 mile in 1:54 2, just edging out Armbro Feather. And a good elimination heat for the first. Now, Crystal Tree, very impressive in the second elimination heat. We're going to take a look at that one in a second. Crystal Tree is at the rail. Leah Almerhurst right behind her. Storm Tossed on the outside.
Crystal Tree by a length and a half. Leah Elmhurst tapped the rail in second. Storm Tossed on the outside third. Silent Cat is in fourth. Wave of Fortune, Armbro Glow on the outside, and Silver Rain. Inside to 16th, Crystal Tree. Here comes Leah Elmhurst. Storm Tossed on the outside third. Silent Cat fourth. Crystal Tree. Leah Elmhurst on the outside, closing in. Crystal Tree holding on.
A 154-1 score for Crystal Tree, but of course that final really took it out of Crystal Tree as she set the pace at a very quick pace through 3 quarters and then faded in the final quarter mile. Let's take a look at the final of the Roses Are Red and pick up the action right now.
The final turn, Crystal Tree, Leah Elmhurst, Armbro Feather now joining in the chase. Here comes Storm Toss, 4 deep. Annie Crombie is fifth, Silent Cat saving ground. Coming to the payoff, Leah Elmhurst takes over the lead. Here comes Armbro Feather, Storm Toss closing in. Leah Elmhurst, Armbro Feather is driving in for the lead. Armbro Feather in the Roses Are Red, 150.
Final surges by Armbro Feather and Storm Tossed produced first and second finishes respectively, and of course they will be in tonight's Breeders' Crown event. Now that action at Greenwood was on a 5/8 mile track. Here at Northfield a little bit different, half-mile racing action, so we've got to see who gets the good early spots. Right now let's go back to Bruce Beck.
And here's a look at the current odds. Armbro Feather is the public's choice at 4-5. Leah Elmhurst 3-1, the second choice. Annie Crombie 4.5 to 1, the third choice. We'll return to Northfield Park, one of the few tracks located in 2 counties, Cuyahoga and Summit. Number 1 in tonight's race is Annie Crombie, 53 career wins, a 6-year-old, the richest and oldest mare in this field, and the defending champion. Gary Seibel is with a member of the ownership team of Abercrombie, Annie Crombie, the defending Breeders' Crown champion.
Thanks, Bruce. With me is Don Cole, co-owner of Annie Crombie and president and founder of the popular nationwide chain of muffler installation shops called Muffler. And Don, I suppose we're not singing in the rain, but possibly the connections of Leah Elmhurst might, as you know that she has an edge on an off-track. Annie Crombie may not be as tough as her on an off-track, but Leah Elmhurst's connections might be happy with the weather that just has occurred over the last few minutes.
We really didn't need that right now.
Well, let me ask you a question. I know you're a newcomer to harness racing. How long have you been in the business, and what got you interested in the sport?
Well, I've been at it 3 years now, and it was sort of unique the way we got started. We had some draft horses for our Bonnie Castle Resort, which was just for hay rides and sleigh rides. And the manager, Roger Gilmer, he was with racing before, and first thing you know, we had a couple of brood mares, and then I got to know Ken Siebert and Lou Gaida, and now we're off and running.
All right, Don Cole, good luck to you tonight with Annie Crombie. Now back to Bruce.
Thank you very much. And Annie Crombie is currently being held at 6-1 from the rail. Leah Elmhurst, second choice, 2-1. Armbro Feather is 3-5, and Storm Toss might be an overlay at 9-1. We'll be back with all the action of the mare pace of the Breeders' Crown. Don't go away. Welcome back to Northfield Park in Northfield, Ohio for the mare pace of the Breeders' Crown. The favorite right now is number 4, Armbro Feather. She's been in the money 19 of 20 times this year. She has 13 victories. Her 1989 earnings, $195,000. Now, because we initially had 10 and now we have 9 mares, and the starting gate allows for only 8, there will be a second tier. Doodlin and Kittywake will be the trailer horses in tonight's Breeders' Crown. So Annie Crombie gets the rail, Stan Bergstein. Can she dictate the pace from there?
Well, I think that Leah Elmhurst, of course, who has very fast early speed and who likes a sloppy track, won the Breeders' Crown 2 years ago over a similar track, will try to go to the front. Mike LaChance with Annie Crombie down at the rail obviously will try to keep her parked as long as possible. Last week she got buried. It won't happen this week.
Twice around this half-mile oval. Let's go upstairs to track announcer Greg Young.
And they're off. It's Leah Elmhurst first away out between horses. Annie Crombie along the rail. They hit the Kopas turn, and Leah Elmhurst along the outside as the neck comes up. Annie Crombie along the rail. Armbro feather up the wood third. It's Doodlin racing up fourth. Then comes Lauren B. They're into the back lane, racing down to the quarter-mile mark. And on the outside, Leah Elmhurst has the lead on neck. In on the rail, Annie Crombie is second. Armbro feather off the rail is third. On the rail is a Doodlin. On the outside is a Lauren B. The opening quarter, 27 1/5. Racing in the far turn, drawing in the clear now is Leah Elmhurst, has the advantage of a length and a quarter. Annie Crombie second, hung on the outside. It's Armbro feather third. Doodlin on the rail fourth. Lauren B is fifth. Then comes a Kitty Wake. They're in the lane, starting down for the halfway point of the race. And in on top, it's Leah Elmhurst by one. Now firing on the outside. Here comes Armbro feather to the lead. She's got it now a length and a half as they pass the halfway station in 56 1. Roaring on the outside now comes Lauren B. Trails that leader a half in the clubhouse turn. Around the turn they go. And in on the rail, the Elmhurst is now third. Racing up along the outside. Looking to be fourth now as they get to the back stretch. Well, that's Storm Tossed. They're in the back lane. They're starting down for the 3/4 mile mark. Armbro feather has the lead on neck. On the outside, Lauren B. 3 wide on the outside is Storm Tossed. Racing along the rail, that's Leah Elmhurst. They're over at the 3/4 mile marker in 1:26 2. Onto the turn, they're swinging for home. In on top, that's Armbro feather. On the outside, Storm Tossed. Racing along the rail, the Elmhurst is third. Kitty Wake is roaring up now fourth with Annie Crombie. They're in the stretch, driving for the wire. And bringing them down the lane, Armbro feather by one. On the outside, trying to overhaul her. It's Storm Tossed, roaring up. Annie Crombie, Armbro feather in front. In 1:56.
So your race winner is Armbro feather. She captures the elusive Breeders' Crown. Armbro feather has been razor sharp this year. And John Kopas made a statement earlier this week. He said there's not a mare around that can touch her when she's right, and she was right tonight. Stan Bergstein in the past, she talked about her Breeders' Crown performance. She got hung too far back. Tonight, she went first over and came roaring to take the lead early.
Well, in her last 3 starts, she got caught on the outside. If the mare has any Achilles heel and any shortcoming, is that she does not have blazing early speed. But Kopas made his move when they straightened away coming to the half-mile mark. He knew he had to get to the front then and did. Moved right past Leah Elmhurst, got to the front. John Campbell, never out of position ever in a race, moved up with Storm Tossed, but he had one to contend with because Lauren B had moved up and was in the thick of it. So he had to go around. Lauren B could not reach Armbro feather as this great 5-year-old mare from the last crop by Most Happy Fellow, one of the greatest sires of all time, held on and won it for John Kopas. And here is the stretch dive. Coming for home, it is Kopas with Armbro feather, the Armstrong brothers' great mare by Most Happy Fellow out of the Brett Hanover mare Brett's Velvet. And this is her 13th victory in 21 starts this year. She won 16 of 25 last year. She's won $1,062,000 going into this race and adds another $143,000 for the victory tonight.
Armbro feather now with 47 lifetime wins, trained by Jack Kopas, the dad of John Kopas. Also, Roger Kopas helps with the training. Owned and bred by the Armstrong brothers of Inglewood, Ontario. And yes, indeed, the Kopases over the years have done excellent jobs with the mares. Roses Are Red, Sevilla Lobel, Keystone Wallace, Nat Lobel, Jade Prince, and now Armbro feather. You know, Stan, it's kind of ironic that just a couple weeks ago, John Kopas drove Armbro feather over the 1 million mark, and he said it meant a lot to him because he's been with this mare for so long, and Armbro feather victorious tonight. Yes, she is the best in the world.
Well, the Kopases have been a fixture and a feature on the Canadian circuit for years. John Kopas, who drives the horses now, and his father Jack, who trains them, make a formidable combination. They have regarded this mare, and everyone else who's watched her has, as one of the best pacing mares of all time. And this season should wind up her competition and should be bred, I believe, to Direct Scooter. And that one should be one that the trotting and pacing world should wait for.
Strong performance by Storm Tossed, who finished second unofficially, and Storm Tossed has been off the board only once this year, and John Campbell drove Storm Tossed aggressively tonight.
Well, he always drives aggressively. He always is well placed, and he has a mare, of course, who is ultra consistent. This mare is hardly ever out of it. She is owned by new owners this year. Bob Waxman up in Ontario also. Canada reigns supreme once again.
Well, the race is now official, and your winner is Armbro Feather, who captures her first Breeders' Crown and no doubt will win the divisional championship. I think that's a fair statement. Armbro Feather, the public's choice, returning $360, $3 and $2.40. Storm Toss second, $5.80 and $3.60. Annie Crombie was third, $4. Time of the mile was $1.56 even. The Perfecta 4 and 8 returned $17.20. Right now, let's go to Gary Seibel.
Thanks, Bruce. And with me is a very muddy but a very happy John Kopas, driver of Armbro Feather. And John, an excellent win. Congratulations.
Yeah, she raced very well as usual. She won a real tough trip tonight.
Okay, what we're going to do, John, is we're going to take a look at the start of the race, and then we're going to pick it up at the half. You explain what went on, what you were looking for at the beginning.
Well, at the beginning, I wanted to get out of there as best as I could, and we were smoking pretty good around these flying turns here tonight, and I didn't know whether I was going to get to the front or not. And then when Bill cleared with Leah finally just past the quarter pole, I figured he'd let me go on, and because he'd want to follow me. But I'll tell you what, it looked like I could have trouble there for a little while. I thought I might be parked the whole mile, actually.
Well, this is where you charged to the front and took command, and from here on in, you were tough.
Yeah, from here on in, I thought I was in pretty good shape because the mare that came at me there, Lauren B., I think she'd been out the whole way, and Johnny's mare was in behind him, and I knew he'd have to come 3 wide, and I was trying to shut it down as much as I could here up the backstretch, but I thought I was in real good shape at this point.
At this point, you were thinking you were in good shape, knowing that Leah Almahurst was behind you, that she is good on an off track, and of course John Campbell out there with Storm Toss coming 3 wide. What was in your mind right now?
Well, John's always tough to beat, and he's probably the greatest driver there ever was, but my mare still had a little in the tank, and I wasn't really concerned with Leah at this time because I knew she'd been used really hard to get to the top, and the only one I was worried about was Storm Toss at this point.
Now, it appeared to me coming down the stretch that you pretty much knew that you were in control of this one. You just kept her mind on business a little bit there, just tapped her a bit, but you knew that she had this one taken.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure she didn't fall asleep on me. She usually doesn't, but you know, you want to make sure they're awake and paying attention to what's going on when they get off like that by themselves.
John, a spectacular win. Congratulations. More in the future for you and the Armstrong brothers and the Kopas family and for Armbro Feather. Thanks. Now we're going to go back to Bruce.
Armbro Feather, her first race in July, a world record at Greenwood. Her first race in August, a world record at the Meadowlands. Her first race in September, a Breeders' Crown Championship. We're on the North Coast at Northfield Park for tonight's Breeders' Crown. The winner of the pacing mare competition, Armbro Feather. And the winner's circle right now, the presentation's being made by Phil Sanfilippo, the Director of Advertising for Certified Vacations, and also by Carl Milstein and his lovely wife, Sandra. Carl is the chairman of Northfield Park. And Armbro Feather has been so razor sharp in 1989, and now it looks very apparent that she will capture divisional honors for a second consecutive year, Stan Bergstein.
Well, almost certainly, and a happy Dr. Glenn Brown, who is the president and manager of the Armstrong Brothers Holdings, is out there joining the happy group in Victory Lane with Mr. Charles Armstrong in the green coat, and a very impatient and nervous but triumphant Armbro Feather.
Let's take a look at the official order of finish for tonight's Breeders' Crown. Armbro Feather, your race winner. Storm Toss was second. Annie Crombie third. Kitty Week, coming very strong at the outside, was fourth. Leah Almahurst was fifth. Doodlin sixth. Armbro Glow seventh. Singing Strings eighth. And Lauren B. finished ninth. So the story tonight, the performance of Armbro Feather. Last year, she was caught behind a big flow of traffic, and tonight, John Kopas got her to the front, and she was able to be victorious. Stan, some final thoughts.
Well, my final thought is happiness for John Kopas, vindicated with this great mare that he has been driving. He had horses like Nat Lobel, Super Clint, one of his early victorious stars. Roses Are Red, another great filly. He's not driven any better than this one, and I doubt that too many other people have here. This is a top-notch filly.
So that's it from Northfield Park, where Armbro Feather has been victorious. Don't forget our next Breeders' Crown telecast Friday night, September 8th at midnight. We'll be at the Hippodrome Bluebonnets in Montreal. As the trotting mares take center stage, you'll see world champion grade singing. Tonight's Breeders' Crown event has been brought to you by Certified Vacations, when you want it to be right. For Stan Bergstein and Gary Seibel, I'm Bruce Beck. Thanks for joining us. Good night from Northfield Park, where your race winner is Armbro Feather.